Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of talk and chatter about online schooling for the rest of the year. So, yesterday, I started hearing about school closures, Harvard telling their college students, don't even bother coming back after spring break. You're going to finish your classes out online. You don't realize how much this is going to impact. Can you still have graduation with crowds of people risking the potential of getting coronavirus? I mean, you got to think about all of this. So, NPR, March 9th, 2020, a growing number of U.S. colleges cancel classes amid CV fears. All right, I got a 3-minute piece of audio that I want you to listen to.
In-person classes because of fears of the coronavirus. That affects more than 600,000 students. NPR's Anya Kamenetz covers education. She's with us this morning. Good morning, Anya.
Morning, Noel.
So it seemed like nothing was closed for a while, and then all of a sudden it started happening very quickly. Why is that?
Well, since the University of Washington really got the ball rolling last Friday, more than 40 colleges all over the country, ranging from Columbia, Princeton, Rice, Stanford, Hofstra, have announced that they're pausing in-person classes for various lengths of time. So it could be a few days, it could be the rest of the semester, and we're also seeing large events being canceled as well. In many cases, colleges reported somebody in their community has tested positive, a faculty member or a student. And in other cases, they say, this is an abundance of caution measure. Recommendations from the CDC are saying social distancing is advised, right, to slow the spread of the disease.
So what does this mean for students, particularly, let's say class isn't canceled for just a couple of days, but for the rest of this semester? What are they doing?
So almost every university is offering some form of online teaching. They're having to do this really quickly, and it's not always, ideal, but they're using, existing learning software. They're using teleconferencing like Zoom, also free online course sites. Some colleges are offering pass-fail, if the course is almost complete. I talked to Jeff Lehman a little while ago. He's the vice chancellor at NYU Shanghai, and they actually had to move their classes online weeks ago because of the coronavirus in China. And he said that there's been a silver lining to all of this.
We have, as a faculty, been thinking more seriously about pedagogy in the last month than we have in the prior 8 years.
And he says that's because faculty are having to really work hard to try to make these online classes just as engaging as they would be in person. And by the way, NYU also has Abu Dhabi and Florence campuses that have also now switched to online classes.
Oh, in the Middle East and in Italy. Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when classes go online, when a college puts the classes online, does that mean the campus just shuts down totally?
For the most part, no. Campuses are staying open because they have essential services. So they're serving food, for example, via like grab-and-go bagged lunches. Research labs are continuing to be open, like at the University of Washington, which is developing and conducting coronavirus testing. And interestingly, Noel, we've seen that some colleges are choosing to still hold athletic events even when they've canceled classes.
That's an interesting decision, isn't it?
I think so.
What do you think we're going to see for the rest of the semester? You think we'll see more of this?
I do. I talked to Brian Alexander at Georgetown. He's been tracking colleges' responses to the outbreak, and he says he expects to see many more closures to come.
There's a lot of risk that colleges and universities take on by staying open right now. Serious harm to quite a lot of populations.
And not to mention, he says, lawsuits, the U.S. Being what it is. And another thread that I'm watching, Noel, is that many campuses are really actively trying to, keep their communities close, even if they can't be close physically, to reduce the threat of xenophobia, discrimination, and, of course, disinformation and panic. They're trying to be trusted sources of information, which is, higher ed's mission.
Yeah, NPR's Anya Kamenetz. Thanks so much for your reporting, Anya.
Thanks, Noel.
All right, y'all. It just seems like, everything is just piling on every single day when it comes down to this, the virus. But let me tell you, I personally do not believe it's going to end with colleges and universities. You also are going to have to consider many of the high school, middle schools, and elementary schools as teachers fall ill to the virus, and think about this because teachers are in very close proximity with children. They are touching the surfaces of desks, and their germs are literally everywhere in the school, from the cafeteria and the gymnasium. Some students are switching classes and they're constantly touching different desk surfaces and stuff. And you got to really consider all of that when it comes down to this virus. Now, here in my state, they had an article out about school closures and how they may be growing in the near future. Now, the CDC had advised, they sent an advisory to higher education institutes to consider not having all those students together in close proximity. So, a lot of the schools are trying to update things, get emergency plans in places, promote better hygiene in the schools, and cleaning and disinfecting their locations. Now, is this foolproof? No, they know it's not. You know, it's just like anything else. If you always have large crowds together, the potential is great for getting the virus. And on the college and university levels, they have all kinds of gatherings and games and um, all types of activities on college campuses that people are involved in. So, some of these schools have already had exposure, like Fordham and Columbia. They canceled classes because of one person was exposed to CV. And the next day, when they found out that one person potentially had CV, Fordham canceled their classes the following day. So I know it's not going to be the only instance where we see school closures. And see, that's another thing. If you have children at home and the schools shut down because of CV, what are these parents going to do? Especially if they got really young kids and they have to go to work, you know? So you got to have all kinds of plans together, even on a personal level, when it comes down to this thing. Who can watch your kids while you're working? You can't assume that everybody can be at home with their kids or do their jobs from home. Some jobs, you have to be on site. You can't do every single job remotely, and what I'm talking about are people that are janitors. You can't do a job like that remotely, or people in manufacturing jobs. You can't do everything remotely. I mean, there are so many, it's limitations even for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, what do you think about these school closures? So far, 40 colleges and universities around the United States are now having students do online classes. I'm sure that number is definitely going to be increasing every single day as this virus is still moving across the country. And see, that's another thing. I'm going to have to look and see how many states it's in. It was only a few days ago, it was in 34 states. But it's not going to take long for this thing to go into 50 states where people are always constantly traveling all over. There's no stopping it. So, New Jersey and New York called states of emergencies, and they also are showing a lot of concerns about more school closures in both states. So, Cuomo had warned that some schools across New York State could be closed for weeks. So he is letting parents know this can go on for weeks. And some of the public schools, ladies and gentlemen, in my state, Princeton University, they have announced moving classes online. And then Wayne Township Public Schools, which is in Passaic County, they will close as of March 13th over CV. Cranford Township Public Schools will be closing as of March 16th. I mean, his thing is getting serious. Warren Hills Regional School District, they will be closing. Actually, they closed on Wednesday. And they're trying to create a preparedness plan in case schools are forced closed over CV. Eastern Regional High School in Voorhees Township closed. Actually, they're going to be closing today as of noon over CV. So, I mean, this thing is getting serious. So it's not just colleges and university, it's public schools too. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.